Next, we have the logo.
The logo
is up
says,
there.
I think the logo says it all.
Please give a round of applause for Kelvin Kiptum, please. All right, yeah. So we have Kelvin Kiptum here, world record holder in the marathon, 2 hours and 35 seconds. Did it like it wasn't even painful at all. And then also we have Bret, long name. Could you say your last name so I don't do that again?
It's Schoolmeester.
Schoolmeester. Okay,
Yeah,
I got that. I got that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Nike, thank you so much for stopping by. It's a big conference. Obviously, you guys are here to unveil a shoe that you have right here in front of us. Could you pass this beautiful piece of artwork over to me? Thank you so much, sir. We'll put this one right here just so the folks can see it at home. Bret, can you tell me about this shoe in particular and why it's so special?
Yeah, well, we're going to officially unveil it, but I think Kelvin and some of the other athletes we have really unveiled it to the world. Everybody was wondering what it was when they were having all these amazing performances in it. So this is the Alphafly 3. It's the latest iteration of our Alphafly series, which is our pinnacle pure marathon performance shoe. So the first iterations were the ones that Eliud Kipchoge wore to break the 2-hour marathon in his race. And we wanted to keep on improving. So we have a kind of forward-looking mindset, always thinking about how we can get better, very similar to our athletes, always wanting to improve. The team worked really, really hard. It was a high bar to clear to get better than the 1 and the 2, but based on what we know from measurable performance and what we're hearing from our athletes and the performances that they're putting in, feel like we've hit that bar.
Yeah, so I had the Alphafly ones. But I was always a fan of the Vaporfly. The Vaporfly was my thing.
Yeah.
But then I had the opportunity to run in these, and I feel, maybe it's just everything's all up to the person, the individual. But I feel like it kind of leans a little more towards more of a smaller type of shoe, and it feels a little faster for me.
Wait, were you briefed ahead? You're like giving my speaking points back to me, so that's good.
Yeah.
So,
they did a good job of letting us know
well
what
done.
to say. Yeah.
Well, you're not alone. A lot of athletes fell in love with the Vaporfly and were hesitant to maybe try something new in the Alphafly. So one of the biggest things we were trying to do with the 3 was remove any hesitation somebody might have had in switching into the Alphafly for their marathon performances. So what we heard both from the world's greatest athletes and all the rest of us mere mortals was they wanted a shoe that felt like it had better transition, more stable, and more comfortable, but they didn't want to sacrifice any of the things that make it such a high performance product, like energy return and propulsion. So that's really what the team set out to do. You'll see the most obvious visual thing. It's the first Alphafly with a continuous bottom. So we used to have a break between the airbags and the heel. That's all continuous now to create more confidence and a smoother transition for even more different types of foot strike. We've also adjusted the midfoot. It's a little bit wider. The last has been adjusted so that there's better arch support. It's going to be even more stability. Even these superhumans like Kelvin and Eliud Kipchoge, they break down a little bit towards mile 20. You got to look real close. So having that greater stability later on in the race is going to help them run even faster. And then for us mere mortals, I start breaking down around mile 5. So you need to have that extra support to make sure you're going to run faster all the way through to the finish line.
Yeah, I'm much closer to the mere mortal side of things.
Yeah.
Bro.
I mean, if it can take him to immortal status, it can take us to just being a little bit better.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
we're all good with that.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
then,
I'm sorry. I was a Vaporfly fan for myself, and then I've run in the 2 and now the 3. I was like, okay, because you see people in 2 camps, right? You have the Alphafly camp and the Vaporfly camp. I think I'm switching camps. I mean,
he said that mid run. He said that mid run yesterday. He's like,
good.
yeah, I think I'm an Alphafly guy.
All right.
Yeah.
And you can be both.
I can. No, don't worry.
No, I'll figure out a way to be both.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think what's amazing and where I think the team did such an amazing job is to kind of have your cake and eat it too proposition. So with the shoe being a little bit more stable, better supportive, more comfortable, it also got lighter weight. So it feels like we should have added more to the shoe to accomplish all those benefits, but it's 15% lighter than the Alphafly 2.
Yeah.
It's the lightest Alphafly we've ever made. And, weight is always the enemy of speed. So feeling like all that wrapped into one shoe, it's going to make more conversions, more people who are going to become Alphafly believers.
Just out of curiosity, like what for weight wise from the Vaporfly 3 to the Alphafly 3, like what are we talking about? The weight difference?
Vaporfly 3 to Alphafly 3?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go to the expert in the crowd. 15 15 grams lighter.
Okay.
Yeah, the Vaporfly would be. Yeah.
Okay, got it. And then I mean, but it's like one of those things where it's like if it got too light, like Gary said, there's those Alphafly camps. If you got too light on this thing, I think a lot of the reason why people like the Alphafly is because I mean you can feel the shoe. I mean, you definitely like know where to put your foot down. You know.
Yeah, I think from the inception of, this super shoe era, which we started a handful of years ago, we've challenged the paradigm of it almost like an engine. Like you add more muscle, where does that shift go? Where the more muscle is worth a little bit more weight. We're always trying to improve both things at the same time. Add more to the engine, add more power, while also reducing weight. I think this is a good testament to that. Better energy return. We know that the athletes are liking it. It feels faster, like you said earlier, but it's also lighter weight.
All right, so I'm just gonna address the elephant in the room. We're not gonna act like you're not here, Kelvin. So you ran your second marathon in the Vaporflies, and then ran this last one and broke the world record 2 hours and 35 seconds in the Alphafly 3. What are one of the big changes that you love about this shoe over the last ones?
I think the last ones it was much more heavier than this Vaporfly. So I think the Vaporfly is much better than the Alphafly.
Got it. And so for when this was your third marathon in Chicago, which is just amazing, by the way. Like, congratulations in person.
Thank you so much.
So third marathon, first marathon was less than a year ago. Our first marathon was less than a year ago. How are you feeling? I mean, I was gonna say how's your progression going, but we obviously saw that, right? How are you feeling about the marathon and the marathon distance right now?
I feel the marathon distance for me is good. I love marathon, so that's why I keep on performing good.
Well, yeah, you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Do you think because you kind of jumped right into the marathon, you had the half marathon, and then you jumped into the marathon, where other athletes are track athletes and they do like the middle distance? Do you think you're setting the standard going forward for athletes, kind of like not having that track career and just going into the marathon right out of college, I guess, or whatever the next level, the pro level?
Yes, of course. More athletes start from racing in track. After track, come to road race to marathon. I think that's a good progression.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because it's like we were just talking about it, because I mean you are like one of the first that I've seen really that rose to such great heights that didn't do that standard, you know, track, then this, then that, and then you get to graduate and then you run the marathon. You kind of skipped over that and had great success. I mean, because they say like you become a great marathoner around 30 something years old, and you're 23, 24. Yeah, and so it's like that's so crazy. That's super crazy, and so you just have so much more time just to keep building on that. And just recently you announced that you're going to be taking a shot at your next marathon in Rotterdam.
Yes.
Yeah. And so do you have are you going after a sub 2? Sub 3, I'm a normal person. So are you going after a sub 2 in Rotterdam?
I think now I'm going to train well, prepare good. But my goal is to run fast. Maybe I get to beat my time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that answer is probably yes.
Yeah.
When you lined up in Chicago, you were training for Chicago. Did you have a time in your head that you were trying to go for in Chicago?
No, my plans to heading to Chicago was to run fast, to beat the course record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
you did both of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did that.
But you didn't have, so you were going for the course record in mind, not so much the world record when you got on the line in Chicago, or was the world record like the A++ goal?
Towards 35 kilometers, I knew I was inside to run a course record and again a world record.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's why I keep on pushing.
Yeah.
And so you were pretty much by yourself at what 13 or 20K. You were like at 20K, and you were probably by yourself, right? Were you? Yeah, you were running pretty solo by then, right?
Yes.
So, do you feel like, like, are your hopes in the next race to have pacers a little farther along in the race, or are you you're all right with that?
Yes. Yes. I think the Pacers should do a good job. Maybe towards 15 miles. Yeah.
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 You got to get them in some good shoes, man.
Yes.
You
Of
got
course.
to tell them to keep up, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You're already training for Rotterdam. What date is Rotterdam actually?
I think it's 14th of April.
Okay. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
so
wow.
a couple months. So
Yeah.
how's training going for you? Feeling good?
Yes. Training has just started, but not so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Well, yeah, not so hard for you.
Yeah.
And we heard this rumor, or not a rumor, it's confirmed that you run very high mileage throughout training, in 160 plus miles or so. I don't know what that turns into for kilometers, but 160 plus weeks for miles. How do you do that? Do you just get out there and put in big work, easy? How's that work out for you?
Yeah, it's true. I normally do maybe 150, 60 above miles per week. Sometimes I go some easy runs and long runs, tough long runs. Yeah.
So I heard that you do. I think would you say it was like 22 times you do like 20 miles or so a week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's Saturday and Sundays.
Saturday and Sunday.
Thursday
Oh,
and Sunday.
Thursday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. I'm about to say, if you do 20 back to back, that's crazy.
So the 150, 160, is that like peak mileage, or is that just every week, or do you take some time off? I assume you took a little bit of time off after Chicago, like a day or two.
Yes. Towards Saturdays, you have to reduce maybe 120 to 130.
Okay.
Yeah, for coverage.
Sorry, just an easy week is 120.
Yeah, that's
That's
crazy. So let's get back to the shoes. I mean, because this is a big deal for a lot of people. Been waiting to see, because we've seen, like you said, we've seen iterations of this shoe kind of popping up like on Elia's foot, and just kind of throughout the last few months or few marathons. What are you going to be racing in these in Rotterdam too? Probably.
Yes, of course. I'll
Okay.
be racing there.
All right.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite thing about this shoe? Like the feeling of it, or is it the weight, or is it the snap, or why do you love this shoe?
Yeah, I love the shoe. The feeling fast, then the weight, and the shoe is comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice.
And then so Brett, back to you for a minute. Brett, back to you. What's one of the things that from a product building standpoint, it just really has you all excited?
I think that what has me the most excited is we built this shoe to like push the boundaries of the sport forward. Like we do think that, we've already done the sub 2 hour marathon. We want to do it in an official race. There's going to be boundaries beyond that. There's women's world records falling. This is the best shoe we've made for those pinnacle performances. What makes me most excited is that those benefits of comfort, stability, transition are probably even more applicable to the runners going 2.5, 3.5, 4 hours. So it's not a, hey, this is only for Kelvin and the superhumans out there. It's going to be even more beneficial to athletes all throughout the pack. So I think, with the advent of the super shoe, you start seeing racing shoes go not just in the first 20 minutes of a marathon. You see them all the way through. That's really exciting because so many more people are reaping the benefits and having great days. And I think this will push that boundary even further forward as well, just seeing athletes all throughout the different finishing times having their best day, because those benefits are even more applicable to their run.
So speaking of those athletes who have all the finishing times across the spectrum, when can they get their hands on the Alphafly 3?
Yeah, so we'll start retailing this one in January, and then we'll have increased drops throughout spring of 24 and on.
And also, just really quick, you blew my mind when you said this. So after Chicago, you said that when someone was asking, like, do you feel pain out there on the course, and your answer was no, that you don't feel pain. Can you tell me how I can get to be like that, please?
I think the shoe also helps, and again the training.
Yeah. All right, so I just got to run more,
run more,
run in the right shoes,
In the
yeah,
In the shoes.
in the
and,
shoes.
and enjoy the race.
All right.
Ah.